Shireen. Okay, we have another economist joining us now, Samiran Chakraborty, the chief economist at Citibank. Also, Neeraj Gambhir of Axis Bank will be with us to tell us how the bond markets, what they're expecting and how things will go from here. But first to you, Samiran, how important is the fiscal deficit number? You're yourself going with 5.5. The market, the bond market today is pretty cheerful, 7.13 actually on the 10-year, decent rally in bond markets. Do you think 5.5 will ruffle feathers?
Well, I mean, this is only an interim budget, and we'll know about the final numbers in a few months' time. And this is also a very peculiar year when, because of the global bond index inclusion-related inflows, I think the market should focus less on the gross borrowing number this year, which is derived out of this fiscal deficit number. The only signal that people would try to get is whether that path towards the 4.5% by FY26, there is any risk to that path. As long as it is more or less assured that that path will be sacrosanct, I doubt that whether the number is 5.5 or a little higher, lower, it would make a big difference. We have kept this number slightly higher, thinking that being a pre-election year, there is a possibility of a small amount of additional expenditure. If that does not happen, then we could see a lower number as well.
Okay. In terms of the disinvestment target, what are you going at? It seems like the government is set to miss its target for FY24 as well, but you put the numbers in front of us. What is the expectation this time around?
So our suspicion is that they will start off, just like every other budget, start off with expectation that they will do something on divestment side. So maybe about 50,000 crores kind of a divestment target could be there in the budget. The interesting thing is that because we expect that the RBI dividend could be much larger this year, there is a bit of a buffer room that the government can have. Even if the divestment numbers fall short, that can be made up by RBI dividend, just like in FY24, the shortfall in divestment has been made up by higher dividend from PSUs.
Bulk of, Samiran, hi, morning, Prashant here. Bulk of the sort of consolidation, whatever has happened not by reducing expenditure, but because revenue growth has been so strong. Do you think that can continue to be the case as we look into the next year? Or should we assume aggressive revenue growth targets?
So this is where analysts have been caught on the wrong foot. I would say the tax buoyancy has been significantly ahead of what the historical trends has been. And that's why we are finding that the tax to GDP ratio is almost approaching its historic highs. Definitely, it's at a post-global financial crisis high right now. Our sense is that in the budget document, the government will not be so aggressive with the tax buoyancy assumption. We are working with something like a 1.1 on the tax buoyancy, but historically we have worked with a 1. So we have also taken it higher by a small amount. But it would be a surprise if the tax buoyancy is taken to be even higher than a 1.1. In that case, the fiscal deficit targets could come down even more.
We've got the April-December tax numbers yesterday. Samiran, income tax has grown by 28% April-December. And corporate tax by 18% April-December. The overall tax is going down to 14% only because of indirect taxes. So why not a higher buoyancy?
So yeah, I mean, there is the thing is that there's no real good study on exactly what is causing this buoyancy to be higher. If it is about tax compliance, then we have to be mindful that the benefits of tax compliance is not infinite. Okay. In fact, one of the arguments is that because this year's tax revenue growth has been so high, it creates an unfavorable base effect for next year's tax revenue growth. So we have to be mindful of that as well.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair point. It does look like GST has helped get even more direct access, but that's visuals coming in of the finance minister entering Parliament. She just posed for the media cameras and now entering Parliament. The first pictures we had was of her entering North Block, and now the cavalcade has reached the Parliament. And we should be, of course, we are only about 65 minutes away.
Yeah, we're only 65 minutes away. And, you know, I always wonder why the Bahikhata is red in color, right? I mean, a lot of people wonder about that. So it's largely because of good luck.
Oh,
so, yeah, according to tradition, that if you wrap anything in red, then it's luck
red
and
is an
prosperity.
auspicious color. It's a bridal color in India, though, of course, it's not a positive color. Abroad, it's definitely an auspicious color. Samiran, thank you very much for joining us and prepping us to tell us which are the exact numbers we should watch out for. Of course, fiscal deficit, tax buoyancy, and the nominal GDP as well. Thank you very much, and we'll touch base with you after.